Hello lovely people, Annie Skizzlebash here, welcome back. I had originally planned to make a video about spiritual growth because a lovely subscriber asked me about it. But then something happened last week. I experienced what I perceived to be a failure. I didn't feel like making a video, and then I started questioning whether I should be making videos at all anymore. I overcame that struggle, so hence that's why I'm still here. And I thought, well, why don't I share my process of how I move beyond failure? How I keep going. And so I decided to make the video about it. Failure is failure. What one person perceives to be as failure, another person might think, well, that's not failure. My process of moving beyond failure helps with smaller setbacks as well as bigger setbacks. I use this from unfairly being sacked from a job to failed business to this setback I'm going to share with you that happened last week. Failure is failure. It's all the same, and it's all relative to a person's experience and their life journey. So one thing I don't recommend doing is comparing your failure to other people.
I wish I had worries like that.
That doesn't serve anyone, most of all you. It just makes you right, which isn't a useful place to be, because then we don't take the necessary action we need to move beyond failure. Anyway, what happened? So what was this failure? Now, last week I released a video, how to stop negative thinking after they start. I was quite proud of this video because I pushed myself creatively in different areas. I spent a lot of time making and editing this video, and it flopped. Let me quickly show you something. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you some stats. 1 second. When we make these videos and upload them, YouTube gives us access to these analytics. It shows you how much time people spend watching your video. It gives you information like when people watch your videos, where people watch them, where they drop off, where they peak, and so on. I mean, it's really cool, right? So it gives you amazing information that helps you create better videos for you. So I'll quickly share with you some stats. Now, these are examples of, well, they've done really well because you've watched them, you found them useful, and so on. Engagement. This little red bit is highlighted here because it's like the first 10 seconds of a video. 80, 80, 80. Now that's a really good intro. Just finding another one for you, hold on. 70, 80. Obviously 100% would be great, and so there's always room for improvement, but on the whole I thought, I'm getting the hang of this. Until last week's video. Look at that. 37% average percent viewed. That means how much time people spend watching. People didn't even watch 20% of the video. It's because that intro was just too jarring. After I released the video, I kept checking in to look at that stat. It started with 50%, then it went to 40, 30, it just kept dropping. It kept going down and down and down. And my mood was going down with it. Anyway, that's a little behind the scenes looking at making videos. But to me, that's a failure. Why am I even wasting my time with it? I can't get this right. What's the point? And it was quite destructive. Have you heard the term know thyself? Well, fortunately, I do know myself. And I know if I allowed those thoughts to continue hammering away in my head, it's just a destructive path down a very dark. So I knew I had to change things up. I hadn't been on a Monday morning run for about 3 months. I went for a run to move myself, because emotion is created by motion. We either need to move our thought, but because that was bombarding my mind, there was a proper blitz going on in there. I had to move myself physically. Now I know what some people think.
Exercise just makes me more tired. Then I don't have any energy left.
Exercise gives you more energy. So I went for a run, immediately felt better, cleared the clutter out of my head. So I asked myself, okay, well, why didn't that video work? For those of you who've been around for a while and followed me for a while, you'll know the music I choose tends to be, there's a hip-hop kind of vibe there, right? I like hip-hop music, and the track I chose was definitely pushing it. I was running one day, I thought, oh wow, this is such a good track. I wonder how I can include this in a video, without breaching copyright and so on. Probably inconsistent with what some of you are used to. So these are the thoughts I started going through. And when I was making the video, I was thinking more about me, what I wanted to share, and less about you and what you would value. I don't feel bad for choosing that music because that's my taste, that's the music I like. I started thinking, okay, what is this teaching me? What can I learn from this? Perhaps the beginning isn't the place it should be. Maybe it can be near the middle or towards the end. And then the thought occurred to me, instead of making the video I had planned, which is on spiritual growth, why don't I just share this with you and use it as an opportunity to serve? So here I am. I'm still making these videos, and I'll continue to as long as I find joy, meaning and purpose. Life shouldn't be about trying to avoid failure at all costs, because then we're playing small. And playing in your comfort zone is a very dangerous place to be, because humans need meaning, purpose and fulfillment. If we don't find it internally, we seek it destructively externally. We try to fill it up materialistically, and that's just a path to destruction. Seeking to grow ourselves is one of the most powerful ways we can find meaning, purpose and fulfillment. And to grow requires overcoming failure. I'm not suggesting that you just go and
Hey, anything is fine, I'm going to just fail and mess my life up.
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. When I made last week's video, my intention was not to fail. My intention was to make the best video I could, to push myself creatively, to take a few risks. The risk was the intro.
Ooh, bit edgy.
Didn't work. Okay, I will learn from that. That's different to,
I'm going to make the worst video.
these are very different, okay? The question you need to ask yourself is not how can I avoid failure, but what is it teaching me? How can I grow from it? How can I serve with it? Ask yourself those 3 questions when you are experiencing a failure or a setback, and it might help you navigate your way out of it. Our capitalist society is set up in a way where it's easy to pursue material instead of meaning. So it takes courage to not conform. Courage requires doing something scary, and the reason it's scary is because there is a chance of failure. Ultimately, when you allow that failure to become lessons instead of your limits, you will see the gifts, you'll move through the other side, and you will gain even more confidence in yourself. There was once this humble cartoonist who wanted to make a living making these moving image cartoons. He managed to land contracts from a broadcasting company, and they paid him to make these cartoons. He hired more illustrators, more creatives. He focused on the vision of what they were making, and the team all executed it. So he was the conductor and they were the orchestra, creating these wonderful creations. The broadcasting company, when it came to renewing the contract, the broadcaster said, "We will keep the orchestra, but we don't need you, the conductor." Everything he'd built, these ideas of these, felt like everything was taken from him. When he left that meeting, he was on the train going from New York back to California. He started sketching this mouse. His name was Walt Disney. And that's how Mickey Mouse was created. And that wasn't his first failure. He had suffered more before that, where he'd lost everything and he had to start over again. If you've just had a failure and you're still suffering from it, ask yourself these questions. How can I learn from it? How can I grow from it, and how can I serve with it? I hope it helps. So share in the comments below, what setback have you faced recently? What failure have you had recently? Share the lessons you've learned from it. What can you do differently? What opportunities waiting for you there? Stay tuned next week. I've got a video on spiritual growth. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell. If you're curious about which video I'm talking about, there's a link below. How to stop negative thoughts after they start. Thanks for watching. I'm Annie Skizzlebash, and I will see you in another video.